Mark, what are you looking at?
He's here.
He's here. He's always here.
He is.
He is. He is. Dark Side is. We'll get to that in just a second. We'll talk about Absolute Power number 3, Batman number 152, right after this. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're alerted whenever we upload new content. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's what the 2 thumbs up are. And what else? And comment. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know how we're doing. So I did.
And ring the notification bell.
I said that already.
Do it twice.
Okay. Yeah. Double notify yourself in case you missed the first one. We are like 3/4 of the way now through Absolute Power.
Yeah.
We got Absolute Power number 3. We got Batman number 152. And we got so much to talk about. They're starting to lay the foundation for what's going to come up after Absolute Power as well. We'll talk about that as we talk about Batman. But yeah, it's let's start though with Absolute Power number 3.
That's out of order.
With a cover that looks. Oh yeah, that's true. Let's do Batman number 152 first.
Batman number 152 would be the correct reading order.
Correct reading order. We were talking backstage about how they have their reading order and we have ours.
Yeah, I read them out of order.
Yeah, Batman 152. Let's talk about that. We have. Go ahead.
We pick up right where we left off. We have Batman and Catwoman going through the boom tube at the secret base location of Amanda Waller's. They're looking for her hidden mother box. So we pick up right where we left off. Like I said, they're through the boom tube. They landed on Zarnia, the home planet of Lobo. Her dream team Suicide Squad follows through. They find a mausoleum of her own making with her relatives in it. She clearly has a hideout on Zarnia, an uninhabited planet. So the fight's about to go down. Batman and Catwoman versus the Suicide Squad dream team, plus that bonus member that was added last issue named Gunsmith, who is guarding the mausoleum.
Right, and so Catwoman goes towards to get the mother box, while Batman says he'll fight them. He'll fight everyone outside.
The entire squad.
Right, exactly.
Like this dude's
but while Catwoman is in there, Black Alice comes along, and she is going to just about to do something to Catwoman with her power, where basically Catwoman says, "You know what? You're really good at this, but you don't pay attention to everything."
Yeah, she said when they tell Catwoman spells take a lot of your focus, and she ends up throwing down a wire, tripping her up, and knocking her out. I'm like, wow,
right,
wow. Yeah, meanwhile, Batman's outside fighting the whole squad. We got Deadeye, we got Bizarro. Who else is out there with him? Gunsmith is out there. Yep. And he's just pretty much fighting for his life from the start. He recognizes, like, this is nuts. So he tries to go fisticuffs with Deadeye for a minute and throws some pointers in his way. It's like, yo, man, we're fighting, but look around you. Like, Amanda's your aunt. Look what she's done with your family. Like, he had no idea that Waller has stolen the remains of his parents and taken them to this personal mausoleum of her. So he's distracted by that. Bizarro comes in, throws some hammers down, and all
a part cybernetic Bizarro.
Yeah, he's got that robot arm from I guess from the damage he took in the Suicide Squad Dream Team Road to Absolute Power. It looked like Deadeye assassinated him at the end when he was kind of going Bizarro and Gamora, but they did put him back together.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Catwoman's trying to unlock and get to the mother box, crack the code to get in, and Batman's just trying to hold his own, and he's using a little bit of distraction to get Gunsmith to accidentally hit Bizarro with some bullets, thus putting Bizarro on Gunsmith, taking care of them, and that works out well. Batman fights him a little bit more, ends up being able to cut the robotic arm off, just jumping around for his life, takes a few hits, and then a swarm shows up.
A swarm of flying scorpions.
Saved by the swarm, just some native Zarnian terrifying wildlife. So everyone goes running for their lives. Batman tells Catwoman to cover up, any open areas, you don't want them getting to you. He has the teched out, armored out suit that they got from the Fortress of Solitude. So he's kind of worried about Catwoman's safety. The squad's running for their life. Batman's cracking Deadshot's island, saying, now you're exposed. You're all going to get it if y'all don't get running. Gives Catwoman his cape. Poor Gunsmith gets attacked by these things. So at this point, he's been attacked by Batman, Bizarro, flying scorpions, and they go to run and dip for their lives. Oh, wait. Didn't they just fly off on their own?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden, these scorpions just leave.
Fly off on their own. And he says it's like they know something's coming almost. And that's when Batman realizes that when the boom tube closed, the mother box ended up being a beacon. And he knew what it was calling.
Ping, ping. So Batman and Catwoman are like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
And then in the background, you see Gunsmith like, where's everybody going? You see red lasers come out from around the corner, make a couple turns, and dust this dude. Mm-hmm. And they stop and look down the street, and way down the street, you just see a silhouetted figure in the smoke. We knew he was coming. You know, all of this is leading to DC's all-in era, the Absolute Comics universe, and none other than Darkseid himself is here. Mm-hmm. So they use the mother box, open it, and they boom tube out of there, and it takes them to a familiar beach of theirs where they had a date last time. Life was peaceful for them back in the TK run, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it goes back to I think the reference was Batman number 79, so it's almost like 80 issues back. Yeah. So that was definitely way back when. And why they end up there is because the boom tube ends up it kind of latches on to Batman's thoughts, and it basically was, he says, this was the last time I felt any peace. Yeah. It was on that island, and so that's where it boom tubes him too.
And there was some like really meaningful dialogue too there at the end with them, like talking about like needing some peace but not being able to stop and having to push forward, and the like realization of who each of these characters are by each other is really what makes them such like a power couple without having to be a couple. Like they really do have like a really deep knowledge of each other, and it shows in these little moments like that. Chip Zdarsky did a great job with that little bit of dialogue being very meaningful, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then the backup story stars the Birds of Prey. Now, I haven't been reading Birds of Prey, but apparently if you read the story, you come to find out that apparently there's something that has been going on between the Birds of Prey and Nubia and the Amazons, because if all of the heroes have kind of secured themselves on Themyscira because it's invisible to the outside world, including Amanda Waller at this point. But we'll get to that in a second. And we see Black Canary then talking to Nubia, saying, we appreciate you allowing us to come on the island. It must not be easy for you. She's like, it's not. They go through a whole different, every part of the Birds of Prey have their own little story. We see at this point, even though all of the Birds of Prey were supposed to go off and kind of find Ollie, Black Canary says, look, this really is up to me. If we all go there to try to find him and what's going on, he's not going to react well. He's just going to have a little fit or whatever. So she convinces them to let just her go. And then we see Big Barda. And that basically kind of just sets up just setting them in the right place on the chessboard for where they're going to be in Absolute Power number 3.
And the artwork is something special with that backup story as well. Like it almost looked like everything was painted, like detail realism. Like it looked fantastic.
Barda it really did.
Huge.
Right. This cover looks very familiar.
It does.
Yeah.
It's a Miko Suayan Big Time Collectibles has already done this exact cover, but with Joker, Bane, and the reflection. But Dan Mora did a great job as well.
Absolutely, and then I think Miko Suayan is kind of an homage to the Wolverine. Yeah, exactly. So, only with the batarangs as opposed to the
claws.
The claws. Absolute Power number 3. We start with Hawkgirl. Actually, just a quick one-page thing with Hawkgirl.
Yeah. Her and Mammoth, I believe, wasn't it?
Right. Yep.
They're just hiding in an alley trying to get a hold of people, see what's going on, where can we go, what do we do? Anybody but a dead body, anyone out there, and then it pans out and you see that Waller's goons are stalking them and got them in their crosshairs. Then you get the big splash page, Absolute Power.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately.
Exactly. right to Gamora, where Amanda Waller is having a discussion with the Brainiac Queen and with Failsafe, basically, and Failsafe is letting her know that there seems to be some issues with a couple of the Amazos going on.
Jade Stone and Velocity are
Right.
not operating at proper capacity with their success missions. It's almost like something's going on with them. We're going to need to do a remote partial reset. Will only take a second. It breaks my heart to even when I read that. I'm like, don't you do it.
Exactly. So see, even in the world of DC Comics, how they fix things is they just hit the power button.
Yeah, turning it off and on again.
Exactly.
Oh, Amanda Waller makes a statement. Until then, you and Brainiac Queen start overseas operations. So now that she's got the U.S. locked down, she's looking to take this little operation international, and she wants to do it ASAP because her little Brainiac Queen is hungry. You know, she feeds on the energy of others. That she should have been juiced up for a while after slaughtering an entire Zarnian army, but here she is, hungry again.
Yep. We switch to Themyscira again. We see Dr. Midnight and Red Tornado. We see Airwave, and we see the person who is now kind of running the whole thing, who is Nightwing, talking about exactly what the plan is going to be. Big Bart, they're talking about how they're going to deal with John Kent.
Yeah, they're really worried about that. And they're also trying to get their footing on Themyscira, a little bit of talking to everybody about like just the fact of being there and what it means to be there. And then we kind of see the rollout, they're taking roll call of who all's here. Now that the fortress operation was shut down, everyone's transporting to Themyscira, and we see that, surprise, surprise, the Birds of Prey are all there, Barda, Zealot, all of them. We see that Flash is there. And everybody has different ideas on how to handle John Kent. The Birds of Prey, especially Bart, are like, yo, like, we get it. It's your boy, but it's trying to kill us, and he's a Kryptonian. We go in hard, and we put him down, whatever that means, whatever the cost. Like, this isn't just fighting. This is survival.
Right. And Nightwing, being the leader that he is, mid-sentence, tells Barter, this discussion is closed.
Yeah. We're not even tabling it. It's just not happening.
Right.
You ain't doing it.
Right. And so,
okay, everyone, listen up. Elected to strike out on Black Canary struck out on her own to find Green Arrow. We knew that. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Robin, and Zatanna will be carrying out their assigned missions. Waller thinks the rest of us are beaten and broken. Blah blah blah. Whole little rousing speech, and people are kind of questioning. I don't think we have the ability to do this without our powers or nothing. And then Hal starts passing out weapons.
That's right. Josh Brolin says, "What?"
Oh God. Yeah, the old crotchety, take no crap Hal Jordan,
Right. He says we're not powerless because if you recall, Hal's mission in the last issue has been to kind of gather up all the weapons, all the villains' weapons that were in the Justice League storage. So he has the cold gun, he has the power axe, he has a whole bunch of weapons to give to people.
Yeah. And then Barry gives him a jacket, which was nice, or Wally gives him a jacket, which was nice of Wally because he's just walking around shirtless. But everybody starts to get their little missions and everything. Nightwing gives them the Godspeed, and they head out. Turning page. Cut over to the Ministry of Self-Reliance HQ in Shanghai, China. Mm-hmm. You have the Chinese government monitoring the situations going on when then out of nowhere, Failsafe pops in, busts in really, and says, we're taking over. And he's like, no, you ain't going to do this. He's like, Waller's been watching y'all too, and we're already taking over. Brainiac Queen is already in your system. She's taking control of everything as we speak. There's no stopping us. We're not consider this. We're not going to hurt you. We're just going to assume your participation in what we would like to do. Thank you for participating, kind of thing. And they don't even try to push back. I mean, what can you do?
He basically tells the Chinese, look, Amanda Waller has basically given up the pretense of that she's working with the American government. She now is the American government.
Yeah. Now she's going to be the world government. And again, thank you for your cooperation. We've already beat your army before we have this conversation.
Right. we see Amanda then again with Failsafe comes along. We basically we find out what's going on, and she basically says that the problem with the other two Amazos is that not that they're malfunctioning,
They're
although they kind of are.
experiencing
They're
something.
experiencing. They're starting to develop an identity.
And it's Velocity who went through the Speed Force,
Right.
and everyone's favorite Amazo robot now, Jadestone, that got dialed into the Starheart there with the green flame and found like full consciousness, like going down the whole existential journey, and they reset him. He just
Right.
Failsafe pushes a button and just hard resets him. Now we haven't seen the outcome of that reset to this point, but man, that's gonna suck if they legit got reset. Like
Right.
if all of that journeying we did through those issues of Green Lantern and everything with Jadestone, like there's such a story there, but
Right.
that
And
legit hurt my heart to read that.
yeah, it would be good to see what happens at that point. We do get a scene of Barry is running. If you recall, at the end of the last when he was running and Velocity was running with him, we get a quick shot of him and says almost kind of indicating, "Hey, something happened because I've started to gain some distance from this guy. So something has happened." So he
Yeah.
recognizes that.
Yeah, when you hit the reset, it made Velocity hiccup for a split second, and
Right.
Barry was able to get a little away from him. But then something magical happens when we turn the page. Somebody dials into Barry Allen, gets into his frequency here, and if you watched the show last week, you got a good idea who this probably is right off the bat. And but you see a hand in a dark room where it's not revealing who it is. In case you don't pick up tie-ins, you're about to be surprised. And they dial into Barry and say, Flash? He's like, who is this? It doesn't matter. Just someone you can trust. Waller's running a Supermax prison off the coast of Gamora. You need to get to the lower levels now. We know what's down there. We have been telling y'all along the way what old Steve Trevor found down there.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and do what? What Flash always does in a crisis. You save the world or die trying over and out. So somebody has told him where the problem is, and we need you here now. Trust me. This is the voice you recognize. Trust it. I wouldn't trust them. Homie, tell me your name. Like
Exactly.
I'm playing games in the situation. Tell me your name.
It's kind of like, if somebody shows up on your live stream and they're not going to go on camera, don't put them on.
No, probably a wing involved.
Exactly. We then we switch back to we
The
see
middle of the ocean.
exactly with Bizarro, who interestingly ends up with a Black Mercy attached to him.
Yeah, we see what Aquaman as well as Yara Flor, their mission was to go intercept this the OSS Reeve, a warship in the ocean, and whatever they're doing out there, the Suicide Squad Dream Team's there fighting them. And you see Bizarro take a smack at Yara Flor, then you see him punch through Arthur Curry, and you're like, oh my God. I'm like, what? What mind blowing? They turn the page, and actually, what happened is they hit him with a Black Mercy. So all of his wildest dreams are coming true, and it's to savagely murder these superheroes. So they're on the run going down through the ship. I'm like, why are they here? Because Nightwing didn't ever tell the reader the specific mission parameters. But yeah, we do need this guy. He was in the issue that started this all. He helped Amanda Waller retrofit some technology to get to where she's at with Brainiac Queen. And bingo, the Time Commander, the Gooberknocker is who they're going to break out. Remember this guy from the very beginning of all of this? They want him. They know that they need him for something, so they go to get him. And Paul, did you notice? Because we mentioned this character. I asked you about him earlier in during Steve Trevor's adventures, Steve Trevor adventures ago, when he was looking down on them building the Stargate. I'm like, who are the characters down there? I recognize that one. But is that Aztec? And I asked you, do you remember the character Aztec? Sure enough, look who popped up. Well, not who, but Red Tornado's
wearing his helmet.
Aztec's helmet.
Yeah,
like, what
exactly.
are the odds? I laughed so hard when I read that, but it's giving him a little bit of built-in superhuman abilities. It's all in the tech. It's not in the man. So they're able to fight off Black Mercy a little bit, go a little intangible. Yara Flor gets a smack on her. Red Tornado takes a shot to the head from Deadeye. And then they bail out of there pretty fast with a little help of some new characters first appearance here outside of World's Finest Return to Kingdom Come. We saw an Earth 22 version of these characters back then in the Dan Moore, Mark Waid event. So that's notable. If you're a key comic collector, this is the first appearance in proper continuity of Querejos and Rana Doradada, which is almost like a character with chains who has a flaming werewolf sidekick.
Yeah, he's like
wild character design. I want to know more about these characters for sure.
He's like a Ghost Rider if he was a werewolf.
Yeah, and I want to know if they're linked or connected or something. But they pop up and give a little bit of assistance over in Costa Rica.
Yes. Then we go back to Themyscira and we find out that although she's normally, you can't see Themyscira, and Amanda Waller would not be able to locate them, they have somehow passed into Red Tornado, who they have used as kind of like a GPS type thing. And so Amanda Waller now is able to knows that they are on Themyscira.
Yeah, Red Tornado's hyper technology was detectable by Queen Brainiac, and when they turned on some of the techno stuff on Themyscira, Queen Brainiac literally comes through it. That was actually kind of very John Carpenter-ish, the way that she actually physically came through it. That was wild, but she came through with the Mazos and started destroying everything. John Kent's there. Everyone's getting beat the hell up because John Kent and Cyborg Style don't play. Big Barda don't play either, because while all this is happening, Homegirl is putting a kryptonite bullet in a 50 cal. I have readied our defenses, is her words. She puts up aim. She's got it locked on John Kent's head, and she gets hit in the hand with a baton.
Yeah, which is no surprise, being thrown by Dick Grayson, Nightwing.
Oh, Nightwing, yeah. She said, why would you? Because A, I'm in charge, and B, something else. I have a plan. Yeah.
Right.
B, I know something you don't. A secret, Terrific, and I couldn't risk getting overheard with super hearing. John, down here. You want to fight me? Let's go toe to toe. Meet me on my level. Come on. And Superboy comes down right in front of John Kent, lands on the ground, touching Themyscira for the first time since he arrived, and immediately getting attacked by green electricity. And it turns out that Themyscira obviously is a place of great magic in the DC universe, and there are magic spells and stuff all over it, and they were ready for John Kent. As soon as he touched down, they're susceptible to magic. He got
if there's one thing that Kryptonians are susceptible to, even a teched out Kryptonian, it's magic.
Probably even more with all that tech on him.
Right.
Technology doesn't favor being shocked. I tried putting a defibrillator on my last laptop to get it to work properly. Had the opposite effect. But Queen Brainiac's going mad that she's not controlling things, fighting, and John Kent actually snaps to a little bit, and Nightwing screaming for him to fight, and he sees his dad. He says, right. Dad, and he immediately rushes over and yokes up Queen Brainiac. I've been inside your head too. Waller lied to you. Everything she taught you about us was poisoned by her hate. What you really need to know about who we are is the truth. And you see him like teched up John Kent grab teched up Brainiac and shock her back. And you see her have flashes of his whole life and the Trinity and all these little flashes of different ages and characters. So he's overloading her with real life information. Boom tube opens. Right. Batman shows up with the mother box.
They've had their fun on the island, and now they boom tube to Themyscira. They basically point the mother box at the Brainiac, Queen Brainiac, and send her off to Pluto.
Yeah, so she can fight us, but it's going to take a while to get here. Very reminiscent of what happened to the OG story fighting Black Adam. Like, we can't stop this guy. Well, we're going to teleport him to the farthest edge of the universe, kind of thing. And when he first showed up in comics, he had just returned from the Wizards sending him there, which I thought was fun. That's a good idea. So Superman says, John walks up and gets down next to him. Dad, Jay, where did Aquaman found Jay on board the OSS Reeve too? Thank God he's safe. It's okay, son. It's over, and I'm proud of you. You get a nice little embrace here from Cal and John. You saved us all.
We see the heroes now there. They're also talking about the Time Commander. He's going to be very important. I'm betting in issue number 4. I'm not so certain that they're not going to somehow try to use him to go back to before Amanda Waller took over everything. So
Yeah, they made the
uh,
statement like you're important. We know you know how to get everyone's powers back. I don't know if we're going to go back in time versus if you're just going to like retcon via time manipulation, Brainiac Queen or something. I
right.
don't know.
We find out Flash, who remember he was told by that person to it's in the sub basement of Amanda Waller's
Supermax
Superman
prison.
Supermax prison.
Yeah.
He ends up he's there, and what does he see? But he sees the multiverse
A
map,
transmatter machine.
right, with the multiverse map in it. Grant
Mhm.
Morrison's multiverse map.
Yeah, the one that's been like used over and over again since a multiversity, since we
Yeah,
got into the Infinite Frontier era. They highlighted it. It's just the go to. He said, and he called it the map, my
right,
map. What's happening?
right. The one I've been charting, but how? She says she's using it. She's using it to build a multiversal army.
And while he's coming to this realization, behind him, creeping up quickly on him, is none other than three prominent members of the crime syndicate.
Right, who we saw at the end of the last Task Force 7 issue.
Yeah, Johnny Quick up there. I forget what the Martian Manhunter character is called. And it looks like another speedster at the bottom because these crime syndicate characters will be introduced to are not limited to Earth 3, even though we've said it and said it 1,000 times. Do not forget, Amanda Waller took over Earth 3 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
and they're finally showing you what that means. Let's
Mm-hmm.
go.
So it's setting up to be just a huge explosive issue number 4. With Darkseid and now we're in the multiverse and it's like, oh man. It's
Crime syndicate.
exactly. Uh, make sure you got your seatbelt fastened.
I'm going to have to add one to my chair here.
It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
It is. Yeah, I'm very, very excited by all
Right.
of it.
We got another issue of Task Force 7 next week, and I want to say we have Green Lantern, I believe, again next
Is
week.
it the final issue of Task Force 7?
Nope, number 6.
You know how sad that Green Lantern issue is about to be?
Mm.
We're going to
Oh,
have this big, long, personal, heart-wrenching story with Alan Scott and Jade Stone, and it's going to end abruptly with him unfortunately being reset. So it's going to be like you're killing somebody. It's going to be like he gets killed in front of us, in front of Alan. Alan has
right.
been through enough.
Yeah, it's almost gonna be like an Awakenings with the Task Force 7.
Now, if I was Alan and that dude got reset in front of me, I'd immediately give him some more of it. Take some more. Like you got the secret to this. Just immediately give him more green flame.
Right. But yeah, it's going to be great. And again, all leading up to we're less than I think we're just 4 weeks away, a little bit more than 5 weeks away now. I think from absolute Batman. Which did you see today that Scott Snyder wanted to originally call the Absolute Comics?
Go F yourself, comics.
He wanted it to be called Batman AF, Superman AF, Wonder Woman AF.
For real, I wasn't far
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
I am seeing now that we're getting closer. We're getting to see the variant issues.
Mm-hmm. Hello, world. Yeah, absolutely. There's a whole bunch of them. There's foils all over the place. There are foils of just their logos. So if you don't like the Batman symbol, you can get just that in a foil if you want it. So
yeah, but we're also seeing other artists take on the design. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I read one of the reasons why that's happening is because normally if a store wanted to do like a store exclusive, they had to buy 3,000. You had to print 3,000.
That's normal. Yeah.
DC is lowering that to 1,000 for Absolute Comics.
Oh, that's really cool. But what I was going to say is Packy something.
Yep.
His variant that he did, like Batman's, it almost looks Fabok-ish. You know what I mean? So you see him with the just getting to see something other than Nick Dragotta or Ian Bertram's Absolute Batman. It makes him look not so eccentric, you know, like
Mhm.
he's not so embellished. He's still ripped, but he's not like unrealistically ripped. You know what I mean? He just looks like, yo, he's proportionate.
Right, right,
But it's
right.
still cool seeing the absolute logo on him, and I think he put slight slants on it. Just seeing
Mhm.
other people's take on it is very interesting, because a lot of the people that were kind of taken aback by how extreme Absolute Batman looks, it kind of just like simmers that down a little
Yeah,
bit. Like, look, like that's also the same exact Batman right there.
right. In the same interview, Scott Snyder also said that Batman's cape, or whatever, what serves as a cape, is programmable.
Oh wow,
So
that's pretty cool.
yeah, so I can't wait for all that. But yeah, if there's only if stores only has print 1,000, Nelson's got to be all over these, I would think.
Yeah, God, I hope he is.
Mm. Because obviously, you know, you don't have to print 3,000 of them. You're not going to have, 1,500 of them sitting in a warehouse somewhere that
I'm
you didn't
messaging
sell.
him now. I'm
So,
glad you said something.
but that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. Well, again, we'll be back next week. Task Force 7, number 6. And I believe it's Green Lantern is the other one next week. But as always, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're alerted whenever we upload new content. Don't forget to leave us a comment and hit the notification, hit the like button. Sorry, hit the like button before you go. It's right down there. It's just below you. It's a little thumbs up. Mark does it in all of his videos now.
Shorts.
There you go. Exactly, all his shorts. So, but that's going to be it. I am Paul. He is Mark.
But we are
We are
Legion.
Legion. And you're now leaving Sector 2815.